Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to look at something you probably do every single week, but likely haven't thought about on a massive industrial scale. We are talking about the care and maintenance of fabrics. Now, doing a load of laundry at home is a chore, sure, but how do you handle it when you have 2,000 beds, 5 daily sheet changes, and incredibly strict infection control? Well, today we're going to explore how the basic principles of cleaning fabrics scale all the way up from the micro level of your laundry basket to the macro level of massive, highly engineered institutional operations.
Here is the roadmap for our journey today. First, the science of laundry. Then we'll scale up to commercial operations, compare hospitals versus hotels, break down the hospital process, touch on careers in the field, and finally, reward you with an ultimate stain removal guide for your own home. Section 1. The science of laundry, from micro to macro. Before we even think about those massive machines used by hospitals and hotels, we really have to understand the fundamental principles of fabric care. Because, whether you're washing a single t-shirt or 1,000 bed sheets, the foundational rules remain exactly the same. To truly master fabric maintenance, you have to recognize that laundry is actually a fascinating duality. It's fundamentally a science requiring a precise understanding of fiber content, water temperatures, chemical reagents like bleaches and softeners, and the mechanical physics of water extraction. But at the same time, it's totally an art. The application of all that science requires a mastery of skills to produce an aesthetically pleasing result. We're talking crisp collars, perfectly pressed pleats, and completely spotless finishes. Basically, you need the chemistry to clean and the artistry to finish. Let's look at the mechanical science happening in your own home right now. The principle of all washing machines is to keep the fabric moving in a washing solution to carry away the dirt. But how they actually pull that off varies wildly. Top-loading machines generally use either agitation, where blades rotate back and forth to literally force water through the fabric, or pulsation, which creates very rapid vertical movements. Front-loading machines, on the other hand, use tumbling. They have a horizontally placed, perforated cylinder. As it revolves, it carries the clothes to the top and just drops them down into the wash water. So the really cool realization here is that in a top loader, the water moves through the clothes, but in a front loader, the clothes actually move through the water. It's a subtle but brilliant difference in physics.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. Commercial laundry, scaling up the operations. Once you step out of the household and exceed the capacity of a standard family, the entire system has to change. Commercial laundries operate like highly organized, compartmentalized factories. They don't just throw things in a bigger machine. There are completely dedicated sections for sorting, washing, drying, and pressing. They have specialized setups for dry cleaning for specific fibers like woolens or synthetics, and they even offer special finishing treatments like dyeing or zari polishing. And to prevent your favorite shirt from getting lost in a sea of thousands of garments, they utilize rigorous tracking systems with specialized code tags that match individual invoices right from the very moment of sorting. To truly grasp the scale of this, just think about 100 kilograms. Your standard domestic washing machine might handle a load of about 5 to 10 kilograms on a good day. Commercial washing machines have the capacity to handle 100 kilograms or more of load in just one single cycle. That requires massive amounts of water, highly specialized mechanical agitation, and a completely different approach to water extraction. Section 3. Institutions. Hospitals versus hotels. Commercial laundries aren't the only ones operating at this massive scale. Institutions like hospitals and hotels require such a constant, heavy flow of clean linens that they usually just run their own enormous in-house laundry departments. But their goals couldn't be more different from one another. And this brilliantly illustrates that duality of science and art we talked about earlier. In a hospital laundry, the focus is almost entirely on the science: strict hygiene, total disinfection, and pure cleanliness. They use specific colors with wash-fast dyes, and honestly, they might not even care about a stubborn visual stain as long as the fabric is thermally and chemically disinfected. They typically don't starch or perfectly press everything. But in the hospitality sector, hotels and restaurants, it is all about the art. Aesthetics and the final finish are absolutely paramount. Crisp starching, perfect ironing, and flawless folding are the primary goals, along with delicately handling personal laundry for their guests. Now, what's really interesting is the staggering, almost unbelievable volume that hospitals have to deal with. A large hospital might easily have 1,800 to 2,000 beds. Each bed requires a minimum stock of 6 sets of linens. And in high-stakes areas, like the operation theater or the maternity ward, those sheets might require 5 or more changes per single day. The sheer logistical challenge of collecting, processing, and redistributing that kind of volume without cross-contamination is just mind-boggling.
Section 4, the hospital process, a true military operation.
So how exactly do they do it? Let's break down the step-by-step process used by hospitals to manage this. It starts with specialized collection and transportation from different wards, rigorously keeping mildly soiled items separate from highly contaminated ones. Then everything goes into those massive 100-kilogram washing machines we mentioned. After the wash, they use a process called hydroextraction. Instead of just a standard spin cycle, massive hydroextractors use intense centrifugal force to literally whip 60 to 70% of the moisture right out of the fabrics. The force is incredible. From there, the linens move to drying, pressing, folding, a dedicated mending station to pull out ruined articles, packing, and finally, exact distribution back to the correct hospital wings.
Section 5, careers in fabric care, running the machine.
You simply cannot run an operation of this magnitude without highly trained professionals. This isn't just about loading machines. It is a highly technical discipline. The people managing these facilities are absolute experts in their field. They need a deep working knowledge of textile chemistry, fiber content, and the complex machinery being used. They have to know exactly how specific chemical reagents will react with specific fabrics under certain temperatures. Because of this, specialized qualifications in textile science or laundry management open up incredibly unique careers not just in high-tech hospitals, but also managing the complex laundry operations for railways, airways, and massive shipping lines. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time talking about 100-kilogram machines and massive hospital wards, but what about you? How do we take this rigorous chemistry used in institutions and apply it to the absolute disasters happening in our own laundry baskets?
Section 6, the ultimate stain removal guide.
Let's apply the science of institutional cleaning to everyday household accidents. We're looking at exactly how to tackle some common stains straight from the textile science textbooks. So the crucial point is knowing your fabric before you ever treat a stain. Cotton and linen are sturdy, but silk and wool are delicate proteins that require totally different chemistry. Look at blood, for example. On cotton, you soak it in cold water and use dilute ammonia. But on silk, just gently sponge it with cold water, no harsh ammonia. For grease on cotton, use hot water and soap. But for unwashable silk, spread French chalk on the stain, leave it for an hour, and brush it off. And here is a fantastic, completely surprising fact. Fresh ink on cotton can actually be removed by rubbing the stain with a cut tomato and salt, or by soaking it in sour milk. Meanwhile, for a coffee stain on cotton, you can pour boiling water straight through it. But pour boiling water on silk or wool and you will absolutely ruin it. They require a gentle steep in warm water and dilute borax. The science is always in the specifics. Whether you are running an operation that supports a 2,000-bed hospital or you're just trying to save your favorite silk shirt from a morning coffee spill, fabric care is a really delicate balance. It requires an understanding of chemical logic, thermal dynamics, and mechanical force, perfectly paired with the artistry of a crisp, beautiful finish. By understanding the immense scale and the rigorous science behind commercial laundry, we can actually take much better care of our own textiles at home. So, I leave you with this final thought. The next time you're standing in front of your washing machine, sorting out your clothes for the week, will you approach it as a scientist or an artist? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy laundering.